Hi guys, it's your girl G to the O to the P to the E to the K, Joe Peck, and I'm back with another video. Before we start with this video, if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, go check it out before you come and watch this one. In this video, I'll be talking about my clinical experience. Yes, we went for clinicals not long ago. I had a whole lot of experience working in the hospital. So I want to share it with you guys. I've already told you I love you guys so much. In the hospital, I met a lot of patients with different characters, and the most important thing, I learned a lot of stuff. Things you need to know as a nurse. But in this video, I'm actually going to talk about what happened on my arrival to the hospital and the first day doing my clinicals. So that day, the day we were asked to come to the hospital, I reported good girl behavior. I didn't want any trouble. My God, I don't like trouble. I don't want trouble. And before we got to the hospital, what the second years and the third years were telling us made me fear working in the hospital. Yeah, they will tell you, if you don't do this, like the nurse manager will punish you. And I'm like, punishment in the hospital? Is he even our principal or our tutor or what? And it's like, if you report late to work too, she can decide not to sign your green book for you. And all those stuff they were saying made me hate the idea of working in the hospital, because I didn't see the reason for their behavior. That's the behavior of the nurse manager. That they told us that that's what they do. So on that day, it was actually a Tuesday. Yeah, it was a Tuesday. So on that Tuesday, as usual, I got to the place very early because to avoid any trouble. And when I got there, we were told to assemble at a place. I don't actually know the name of the place, but it's just on your right. If you enter the hospital, it's just on your right hand side. And we were sitting there, so your girl, yes, I sat down comfortably. The girl sat down comfortably, waiting to hear the announcement or any information to be given. So when I sat down, then we waited for almost an hour and nobody showed up, whether the nurse manager, her team, or anybody. Nobody was showing up. And it's like the staffs there were busy going about their duties. People were just going about doing their duties, and they left us alone. The gossips had gossiped for a long time and had nothing else to say, so they were just looking at each other. Those standing were standing because there were no seats available for them to sit on, and they were getting tired of standing. Those sitting were also tired of sitting, but they refused to get up for other people to come and sit down, because once you get up, obviously someone will sit down because the person is tired of standing. So we sat there for 30 more minutes before the nurse manager came in. Yeah, I actually thought he was the nurse manager, but he was the man in charge of our accommodation. So he told us to relocate to a place. Guys, sorry for telling me the place, but I've forgotten the name and I don't actually know some of the places right now. So he told us to relocate to a place. There, he spoke to us. He told us that he was the person in charge for our accommodation. So if we need anything, we should come to him. He introduced himself. He said a lot about himself. And he also advised us to be very vigilant, to be curious, to know what happens to a patient when a patient comes, all those stuff. Then he actually welcomed us. After he was done talking, the nurse manager and her team walked in. So they introduced themselves and also told us to stay safe. After that, we were given a book to write our names, which shows that you actually came for the clinicals at the right place. After we were given the book, guys, book, write your name, write your number, write the date you came, sign. This 1, 2, 3, 4 things to do. 4 things to do. Just write your name fast. And then it will fight. We were actually told to form a queue, and it was randomly. So anybody can just go and stand in front, which means the person is the first person to write his or her name right. Then as students, we joined the queue. Those in front stood in front, and wherever you are, you just join the queue. The person in front was actually a first year student. So after the nurse manager and her team left, there was this third year student who came out of nowhere. This third year student just walked in. I didn't actually see where she came from, but we are just in the queue, so you have to join the queue. Is that not it? When you get to the hospital, there's nothing like this the first year student, this the third year student. We are all nurses, working as nurses. We are all working as nurses. So this third year student came while the nurse manager wasn't around and their team too were not around. So she came and she took the book from the first year student. And the first year student was like, why have you taken the book from me? Then the third year student told her boldly that why should she allow a first year student to write while the third year students are there? And we're really like, what's wrong with this third year student too? They told us to join the queue and you didn't come early. So you want us to allow you to come and stand in front and write your name or what? And this first year student too told her that how this third year students have been behaving, it's really bad. Now the fact that she's in third year doesn't automatically mean that she will pass her licensure exam. She can fail if she doesn't take care. So she should be very careful of how she treats people. This triggered the third year student, and the third year student retaliated with a slap on the face of the first year student. This first year student didn't stand there still. She also retaliated with a slap, and we were all surprised. I was surprised myself because why was this turn into a fight? Just write your name. It was turning into a fight, guys. They fought, and the funny thing is that they fought for a long time, but nobody stopped them. But guys, the way the fight was going, like, guys, it was funny. I didn't even know what to do, whether to stand there and laugh or hit myself behind something no one would see me. Because the first year student was just straight up. Guys, so nobody tried stopping those two. Me myself, I didn't even try because what if a blow landed on my face? While they are fighting, they are not aware of what they are actually doing, like where they are throwing their blows and all those things. I'm sure the next manager had it from her office. So I think few minutes after the fight, the next manager came and she was the one who separated those two. Everyone was just watching, but none could stop them. So she was the one who separated it and she asked, what is going on? Then the first year student started explaining this and that and this. Like this was actually happened. Then the next manager was like, what's wrong with the third years? The fact that they are in third years doesn't give them authority to be controlling people around. So she actually called the third year students to her right, then told us first years and second years to move to her left. Then she gave us the book, then we wrote our names. The first years and the second years were supposed to write their names first before the third years actually writes their names. But guys, after the manager said this, I was surprised to see the same people who were supporting this third year students. When she actually took the book from the first year, were now bringing cases on this person. I don't know whether they have an issue with them, but the same people were just complaining and complaining and complaining. And this third year felt bad. If you're to be in the same situation, I also feel very bad. But one thing is that the first impression counts. First impression counts. And when we were involved in the fight, imagine us passing by and you, first time coming to that hospital, you are fighting. What will you do? You being the patient and you saw two nurses involved in the fight. What would you do if the same nurse you saw comes to you later to serve you medication or to maybe to check your vital signs, to serve you medication, to spoon feed you or something like that? Or what would you do? What would you actually do? Or what would you see? If I was to be the one, I won't allow you to touch me. If you have time to fight your colleague, what shows you are even serious to study or help patients? What shows that you are even serious about your profession? And you don't take into consideration whether you're in the hospital or what. Just fighting like that. And these two people too, first day in the hospital, you are fighting. What do the patients say about you? So, first years and the second years were down writing their names. Then the man in charge of our accommodation came to orientate us about this place. Whilst he was taking us around, showing us the place, like maybe there's a CCBTC, this what. The third years had now started writing their names. So they were lacking that aspect. He actually introduced us to the children's ward first. And guys, in the children's ward, when we got there, he didn't allow us to enter. He said there are many children with different conditions, and some of them may fear if they see a huge number of people. I don't know whether he didn't want us to go inside the ward or what. He was saying a whole lot of things. Actually described the place to us. So he told us that when you enter the ward, right in front of you is the children's OPD. On your left, it's a door which leads to the nurses station. And in front of the nurses station is the emergency unit. Then we have NICU. That's the neonatal intensive care unit. It's actually a room. So guys, after saying that, he saw the look on our face and told us to go. The look on everybody's face just told him that we actually wanted to enter. He was like, oh, we should go inside. And we were like, yes, we want to go inside. He selected a few people, but lucky for me, I was packed of those chosen people. Like, I was actually behind, but the way I managed. So when he told us that, yes, I don't know, but the look on his face told me that he was about to select a number of people. So the sister rushed in front. I actually wanted to see the children and the babies, how they are. I just wanted to see them. So when I heard that we were about to enter, I even entered before the man in charge of the accommodation. When he opened it, me, I had already opened it and gone to the next station, waiting for them to come. Because I was a bit curious to know what's going on there. So when we entered, they actually took us to the emergency unit, and he told us that there's the emergency unit. But one sad thing was that in front of the emergency unit, there was one woman. After seeing her, I just saw the doctors rush into a room. That's the emergency unit room. Curiosity made me ask the nurse who was right in front of me that, please, what are they actually going to do? So she told me that the woman sitting in front of the emergency unit, her child has cold in the heart. The child is actually suffering, so the doctors are there to check and examine how the child is right now. So we are just waiting for the doctors to come out. Then guys, I was just surprised when the doctors came out. The doctors, there were two. The first person to come out was sad. You could actually see from his facial expression that something bad has happened to the child. I can actually hear what he was telling the parents of the child, but from how he was behaving, and after he said everything he has to say, the mother of the child started crying. The mother of the child was actually trying to console the mother, but she kept on crying. She kept on weeping and weeping and weeping, and the doctor was trying to console them too. So after this, I was just sad and I felt pity for the parents, because what if that's their only child and right now the child is dead? We were told to move into NICU, that's the neonatal intensive care unit, and that's why we got there. Most of the cases, or the reason why most of the children were brought there, was because of jaundice. Some had lost weight, some were also having convulsion, but the reason why most of the children were brought there was because of the jaundice. And I was just hurt when a child had all this theory, unable to eat too, so he was fed through a tube. But guys, when we first got to the place, that's the neonatal intensive unit, I heard the cries of the babies, and I actually wanted to carry one. Most of the parents were with their babies, so it was just this one child who was crying. Then I turned to look at the child. His mom was not around. Myself, I wanted to carry a child before I leave the place, and this child was also crying and crying and crying. So I was just planning on how to take the baby. And I heard the nurse saying, bring me that. And I carried the baby, and I was just tapping him at the back. I was just tapping him, and the nurse was like, I didn't tell you to carry the baby. I just said, bring me the book on the table. I didn't tell you to carry the baby. And I was like, nurse, there's no problem, I want to carry the baby. The nurse was like, they are not willing to learn, they are just willing to carry people's baby for them. We left the children's ward and we were actually shown to the CCPTC, that's Cervical Cancer Prevention and Training Center. So we are actually shown the building because they said there are many, so we all can't enter at the same time. Then we moved on to the accident and emergency unit, and guys, at that place too, it was strictly 10 years. We didn't even enter. He just gave us a brief history about accident and emergency unit. He told us to leave. So as we were going, guys, they were bringing one patient inside, and guys, the patient was involved in an accident. How his leg was, I just knew the doctor would just say they should amputate his leg because his legs were broken and it was damaged, so you could actually see the bone, and his left arm couldn't be straightened properly. So he just had one hand to support him. That's the right hand. And guys, I just felt pity for this man, because what will he do if he wakes up? Like, you have all your body parts functioning properly, then all of a sudden you wake up to see your legs amputated, one arm not working, the other hand is the only thing that you are using. The person who brought this man actually narrated that this man was in a vehicle with his friends. Then they were involved in the accident with a big tipper truck. Unfortunately, all his friends passed on, and he was only one left. And guys, he had his jaw, that's the mandible, broken, and his legs couldn't be useful for him anymore. I was just wondering if death was better than the situation right now. Then we moved on to the pharmacy. We are showing the pharmacy where you put your folder and all those things. So guys, patients sitting in front of the pharmacy, they are waiting to be called so that their medications will be given to them. You see most of them, they can't differentiate between a student nurse and a real nurse. So they all thought we were all nurses. You guys see that? You see that happiness? I just felt like a celebrity that day because everyone was watching me. I actually passed in front of the hospital and passed several times because once you pass, they'll just look at you, watch you enter the ward. Female ward is on the right side of the pharmacy. So I just want to pass in front of the patients to be watching me. I know they are watching me because I feel heavy. Like, it's like, I don't know. There's this place you pass before you get there. So I'm just going to stand there and I'll wait for some time, then I'll come out. As if I'm given a task to do, but nothing. But guys, nothing. I have not been given anything to do. And guys, I passed this severally until we were called by nurse manager. We're sent to OPD 2. We entered the female ward. We entered the male ward. And guys, in the male ward too, the people there came with hernia cases. Like when you pick about 10 people, only one person came with a different issue. The rest are hernia. There was this man, most of the nurses complained about him. He was very rude. It's like he gives you orders. He gives you the nurse taking care of him orders to do. Like, do this, I don't want to do that. I don't want you to do it like this. And guys, that man actually came complaining. He has not been able to pass tools for some months now. And he had a tilted stomach. So guys, when I saw his tilted stomach, I actually wanted to know the reason for his tilted stomach. Then I overheard the doctor telling him that the reason for it was because some of the organs and his intestines had dislocated and they had to operate on him. I just felt pity for the man because even hearing the word operation or surgery scares me. After hearing what the doctor said, I just moved to join my colleagues. The male ward had its surgical side and its medical side. So as I want to leave, I saw people on stretcher. I didn't actually see their face. They were covered totally. One from the medical side and one from the surgical side. So I was shocked to see them covered. And I decided to ask the nurse that why are they covered? Because it's not good. It can obscure their airway for them not to breathe properly. So why is it that they are covered totally? Then the nurse was like, oh, these people, they are dead, or they died this morning. And guys, I was very shocked because all their relatives do when they hear this news, like, you've been taking care of someone for a long time and the person is dead. But I felt pity for them because they are not planned for that situation. And guys, we moved on to the female ward. In the female ward, most of the cases was about breast cancer. There was this one who came there with cuts all over her body and her legs had turned black. She was actually in the ward before we got there. So I asked the nurse the reason for her black legs. Then the nurse was like, she said she was diagnosed of HIV and she was in doubt. So she went to her herbalist. She moved from one place to another things. Finally accepted that she has it. She came back at the 11th hour. There was nothing much that the doctors could do, but because it has already destroyed almost everything in her before she found out. And there was another woman whom the doctor advised to stop giving birth because she had 7 children already and she had a weak cervix which could lead to infections and diseases easily affecting her. This man was like, no, she can never stop giving birth because she has now gotten married and she has to enjoy her marriage and she can only enjoy it with children. So moved on to the OPD. And the OPD, we had eye units, we have gynae, we have surgical units, we have a lot. And we are told that if you come there, we'll be learning a lot there. So that's the only information we are given at the OPD. Then we were told to go back to where we wrote our names. Then there we were grouped into 4. Yes, we were grouped into 4. And each group were given papers to write their names. Then they were given the rewards to go to systematically. So from this side you move to this side, you move to this side, and go to this side. That's how they should do it. We're told to report to the ward we had first. We reported. Some group had their papers were taken from them and they were asked to leave. I was also thinking that mine would be the same. I had CCPCC. My group went there. I then went to know, greeted. Then she gave her papers to her. We met a nurse there. This one told us to come inside and come and sit down. And I was like, what was the sitting for? Because we've given her the paper right now. So she just has to tell us to go. I was thinking maybe she wants us to sit down, then she will give us the paper, then we stand up and go back to our house. Because most of the people, they just give the paper out, then they came. So I was thinking maybe she wants us to sit down. So guys, after saying that, she came, she introduced herself, told us that we have few days left, so everybody should take a pen and a paper. Guys, I didn't send back. I didn't send back myself. How can I send a pen once I didn't even take back? So I was like, what's happening here? Because she has taken our pen, she has made us sit down. If she came to teach or what? Then she started describing the cervical cancer to us, how to prevent it, how to treat it, how to do all those things. So guys, she told us to wait for her senior colleague and her team members for them to come and introduce themselves to us. Guys, it took like 30 minutes and these people were not in. I don't know what preparations they were making. And this woman who we already met was lecturing and lecturing and lecturing and lecturing us. Guys, we just came the first day in the hospital and teaching us about cervical cancer. She could see from the look on our face that we don't understand anything she's saying, but she was still teaching. She was still teaching. We don't understand anything, we are still teaching. So it took like an hour before her senior colleague and her team members came. Then when they came to, we were expecting them to like be fast because we've already wasted 1 hour of our time. Then they came and they were all hiding behind each other. I don't know if they were afraid of us or they thought we were real nurses or something like that. But these people behaved as if they've seen the president be. They were just hiding themselves. And they were like, what are they doing? We just get up and go. Man, I was hungry and angry. The first nurse we met, after they introduced themselves, she could see from our facial expression that we didn't understand anything she said. So she told us she was going to orientate us about the place. They had screening room 1, 2, 3, then they had consultation room, and they had a place where they packed all their items, sent to the lab. They actually told us that when they take a sample, they take it to the lab. Then if you are positive, you can test it again after a year, and if you are negative, then you test again after 5 years. We didn't even understand the whole thing, but we were just listening to her. So she took us to screening room 1, and fortunately or unfortunately for us, there was one patient in consultation room 1. So they told us that they wanted us to observe what happens at the CCPTC, and I already told you the meaning of that. So we were actually many, we were like 20 or so, so all of us can't enter like that. They divided us into 5 people for a group. After the first group are done observing, they will come out so the next group will go. And the first group entered. I was part of the first group here because I was curious and I wanted to know what happens there. They can't just come and waste my time without me seeing anything they do there. So when we entered, the first thing I observed about the patient was very pale. She was like very pale. And she looked tired. And she was as if a walking corpse or something. She was very pale. And she was just losing a lot of blood. After the patient left, the doctor explained to patients came with complaints of bleeding continuously for more than 6 months now. She thought it was normal. So after some time, she was like, no, we have to come to the hospital to check what's happening to her because it's becoming severe. So when she came, they found out that she had this virus which causes the cervical cancer in her. So they referred her to the CCPTC. Then after the doctor examined her and all those things, the doctor found out that the cancer had damaged her right pelvic and she had lower hemoglobin level. So the doctor told us that it could be possible this woman won't make it because everything shows that the woman is not well. Even expressions like when I entered, I saw that this woman she had a problem because she was pale. It's as if she doesn't have blood at all. So I asked the doctor whether the woman was aware she's in that condition. Then the doctor was like, no, she doesn't know what's happening to her, but they are just going to counsel her about what's happening to her right now, and they'll tell her to stay safe. I don't know how she's going to feel that you have cancer. Guys, after they allowed us to leave, finally they told us that we can go. Then guys, the way I rushed to the gate of the hospital, I was very tired, I was very hungry, I was very angry. But in all, working in the hospital is very fun. It's a nice experience. You get to meet a lot of patients, patients with different characters because some of them have good behaviors, some of them have bad behaviors, and some of them to come to the hospital and feel like controlling the nurses because they think they know better than the nurses. Working in the hospital is a very nice experience, and I wish we spend more time in the hospital than in the classroom, because in the hospital you have to learn a lot. I've never heard of cervical cancer before, but going to the hospital made me learn about cervical cancer. And guys, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you haven't watched my video, any of my video, just go and check it out. Just check out all my videos for me to bring you more videos, because I love you guys so much. Bye.